Hi, I'm Links from the Pole Vault Studio. Today we're going to do conditioning for beginners. No one likes conditioning. It's hard and can be painful, but you need it to be able to do the spins or all the cool stuff up the pole. You need to be strong first, but not everyone who comes into pole comes into it strong. So we're going to do some really basic conditioning today that you'll probably expect to do at the start of every class, but I'm gonna start off as though if you don't have any strength whatsoever, and then I'll do some progressions, but nothing like too advanced level. That will just be for another video. So one of the first things you will be asked to do is knee raises. Look at this. But this is beginning conditioning, so if you can't pull your feet off the floor, you want your pole, your inner armpit, other hand over the top, going to come in front of your pose, so I'll show you to the side, you're just going to pull up to your toes. So I'm not cheating and I'm not going up on my toes. Engage your shoulder, pull with your arms, try and pull up to your toes. If you manage that and you think, oh, this is getting easier, then you can try lift one leg and see if you can get the other one up. So you start with one leg up and see if you can get it up. And then eventually you will be able to get both knees up. The aim will be to get your knees past your waist so that it brings in your hip flexors and it works your abs, but just to start with, you just want to pull yourself onto your toes, and that will get your muscles used to it, and then keep doing that, they'll build up, and then eventually you will be able to lift your feet off the floor. So make sure you do it equally both sides. In pole we try to train both sides. Some of us do neglect certain ones, especially those moves that take ages to get. But you want to train both sides so that you won't have so much of a difference between your two sides. So, on my other side, pull up to my toes. You don't want to do too much. Really squeeze with your arms, so think of pulling your elbow across to your face, engaging your shoulders, really pulling up, and then see if you can get your feet off the floor. So we're going to do the same for pole pull-ups. Pole pull-ups, you stand facing the pole, one hand on, the other hand on top, and again pull up to your toes. This is how I started with pull-ups, because when I started pole I could do chin-ups and pull-ups on the bar. I could not do them on the pole, and I got so angry. So I'm like, I can do these, but doing it on the pole involves different muscles. So just think of engaging your shoulders and pulling to your toes. So I'm not, again, bringing my legs into it. My legs aren't really doing anything but balancing me. And then switch hands. So whichever hand is on the bottom is now on the top. And you're going to pull up again onto your toes. If you find that you can do that with no problems, see if you can pull up and get both feet off the floor. An easier way to gain your pull-up is actually to train the negative. So instead of pulling up, lower down. So jump up and slowly lower. If you slide, I'll let my hand slide, go with it, because you're still using the muscles. But training the negative is an easier way to get the pull up. In most things as well, you're naturally stronger putting things down than you are lifting them up. So you can do it with the knee raises as well. You can jump up, and then lower. But definitely with the pole pull up, you don't even have to jump very high. So you can just jump up a bit to bent arms and slowly lower to straight arms. Keep your legs up and then put your feet down. So that will still build the exact same muscles that you need to pull up, but it's just an easier way of doing it. And another type of pull up is the straddle. So in the beginning, just going to sit in a straddle. I might slip on this plate. Have your hands up, one above the other, and to start with, yeah, slipping. Start with, just see if you can get your bum off the floor. If you can't, just practice engaging the shoulder and just trying to lift slightly. If you then, again, soft hands, manage, see if you can get your bum off the floor. And then eventually, you'll be able to do that. In order to lift your legs, you really need to squeeze your quads and your hip flexors. That's your active flexibility in order to lift your legs in the straddle. It is okay to go up and then lift them. Ideally, you want to lift them in one. And also in pole, we use our obliques, so the side core muscles. So a good one for training that are ballerina crunches or cupid crunches. The closer your foot is to the pole, the harder it is. So you're just going to stand on one side. You want to hook your knee, but if I swivel around, you don't want to be back like this. You want your knee and your hip in line. So there is back, there is forward, and properly engaged. Squeeze your heel to your bum. You can hold on, but don't take any weight in your fingers, just use them for balance. And you might have to constantly reset to keep that hip forward, because that's quite difficult. And then when you feel safe, you can move your hands to your head. This is a good one, not only for obliques, but for training your knee grip for more difficult moves up the pole. And so then if you want to make it harder, have your foot at the base of the pole, see, so not back, nice and parallel. And do your side crunches. And obviously we use our core, so a good one for the core, obviously the stage isn't quite big enough, is to go into shoulder mount position. So have the pole against your shoulder. You want your hands in cup grip, so think Lego hands, see, so it's cup grip, Lego hands. Whichever shoulder's on the pole, that's the hand that's going to be lower. The other hand comes up. I generally have mine higher than I do in shoulder mount. I often move away from the pole because it tends to hurt. You want to have your legs perfectly straight and engage your core. So as you can see here, my natural arch, engage your core. So tilt your pelvis and squeeze in. Obviously mine's not going to be completely flat because my legs are at a different level. And you're going to pull with your hands, squeeze with your elbows, squeeze your legs, squeeze your abs, pull your legs up and slowly lower. The lower you go and the slower you go, rather, the better it is. So like that isn't really engaging anything, so you really want to slow it down and really squeeze everything, especially in the lowering movement. If that doesn't burn, do more, Or you can try a slightly harder variation, which is to raise your legs to the pole, push up into a shoulder stand, take your feet away, and slowly lower. So you can switch shoulders if you want to. Doesn't really matter with that one because you're working your core, not your arms, so you don't have to switch. You can do sit-ups with the pole, so have your knees either side and you can do your sit-ups, which having the pole makes them a little bit easier. Another one is to work the shoulder mount. The shoulder mount is hideously painful. So if you start training it as a beginner, it won't be so bad. So a shoulder mount, have your shoulder against the pole, whichever shoulder is against the pole, that's a hand that's going to be on the pole. So Lego hands, cup grip is the professional name for it. And you want to think of squeezing your elbows together, going up on your toes is easier, arching back, and you really want to think of trying to throw the pole over your head, so that movement, and that gives you the idea of how much pull you need. And you just go in, flutter your legs. So just do little scissor kicks. It doesn't matter which leg goes first. And that will get you used to the pain of the shoulder mount. Go on the other side. If you find the scissor kicks are okay, make them bigger. If you find that's okay, you can try a tuck. So again, think elbows in, you can move your hand higher. Really think of pulling the pole. I mean, the advantage of a staple is you actually see it moving when I pull it. And just tuck. So that's the beginning of learning shoulder mount. So others. Did you write down any others?
Skaters.
Ah yes. So climbing starts. Get used to the basic climb. So you want your foot one side of the pole and knee the other. This is your lock. So the pole is against your shin. You will bruise. It's just natural. So whichever leg is on, I have that hand lower. The other hand comes over the top. And you want, if you can only get to here, that's okay. Just do that. The aim of the climbing stance is to get your leg out behind you. So your forearm comes on the pole a bit for balance to keep you away. So you want to really think of engaging your shoulders, so pulling with your arms and trying to get up off the floor. But if you can't, again, pull up to your toes. And if you can get off the floor, then try and pull up and get your leg out in front of you. Behind you rather, and then you can also pull up and get your leg in front of you. So that's going to condition you for the basic climb.
You've done like straddles and pikes.
And a slightly harder variation of the knee raisers, straddle lift. So you stand in the straddle, you want your bum in front of the pole, so have your in arm on, outer arm above, so you can see that I'm in front of the pole because it makes it easier. Straddle your legs, squeeze your legs to keep them straight and try and rotate them outwards a bit. And you're just going to lift to here if you can. If not, again, pull to your toes. The idea is to eventually get your legs up to there, but for now, just getting them off the ground is a major step. If you do find that you can straddle easily, then you can try the pike lift. So I'll go on the side so you can see. Pike lift is this. So both legs are perfectly straight. So we, again, really want to get it in the armpit. Squeeze your arm. So think of bringing your elbow across. Other hand goes over the top. Again, bum in front of the pole. Keep your legs straight. Squeeze your legs. Engage your core. And just try and get them off the floor. And then each time you do it, just try and get them a bit higher. And then eventually, you'll be able to get them up. But for now, just think small first, and then once you master them, then progress, because having good technique, good form, is much better than just being able to do it with sloppy form. So get your technique right first, and then progress, and you'll be so much better for it. So that's our beginning conditioning done. Thank you for watching.